Okay. Hello. Thank you for joining the Community Development Activities meeting regarding module development on Rosetta Street. You're joining the Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation, representatives from the URA, and module development. And we will be hearing from Justin. All right, Justin, take it away.
Hey, Nina.
Yes,
Right
Rick.
before that, let's just do a little bit of background.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Project and talk about what our objectives are for tonight's meeting. So for everybody who's on the call, we're here tonight as a follow-up to a community meeting last October on the proposal by Module Housing to build a mix of affordable and market rate single-family homes in the 5100 block of Rosetta Street. Since that time, Module has also investigated the possibility of building 2 additional homes in the 4900 block of Broad Street. What makes this meeting of germane interest to neighborhood residents is Module is seeking to acquire from the city and the Urban Redevelopment Authority 9 individual lots on Rosetta Street for their project and 2 additional lots on Broad Street for that second project. So altogether, there are 11 city-owned parcels that would be in play if Module were to go forward with the development as they plan. So we have some objectives for tonight's meeting. We want to hear from Module first and its partner, the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation, on the latest progress with building these homes on Rosetta Street and on Broad. I think understand what the project timetable is moving forward and what some of the key benchmarks will be as far as that timetable is concerned. Entertain questions or comments from those in the community who are on tonight's call.
Sit.
Discussion. And then finally, after tonight's meeting, we would like to find some way to at least present to our board of directors at the BGC what the overall stance of the community is vis-a-vis the project. So those are our objectives for tonight. Now, we have, I believe, Malachi Pugh from State Representative Ed Gainey's office joining us. And we might even have the state representative himself later on. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to be with us today. He's done with a family matter, so I'm in listening and taking notes.
Okay, so
for anything I need.
We'll trust you to convey to State Representative Gainey what
your connection is kind of going in and out.
You're breaking up, Rick.
He's breaking up.
Representative Gainey is also a board. Oh, I'm sorry. So with that, let's turn things over to Lou from Module and Justin from the PHDC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rick. Actually, our team put together some quick update slides, and we'll be able to share with the community residents and just share where we are and the overall process and the goal of tonight's meeting. Do you mind I share the screen?
Yeah,
Brian just
ahead,
joined. Yeah.
Who needs access to screen share?
I do. I just started, and
Okay.
I think I should be able to do this. And Brian just joined, and Brian is the CEO of the company and mainly leading the project. Yeah, the internet on his end is a little bit slow,
Yeah.
and so Justin and I will primarily giving the update about the project tonight, I guess. And Brian, if you have something, feel free to jump in and share with the community members.
Yeah, Lou, I'll just say a couple words at the beginning. We've obviously there's supply chain issues with construction. So I'm actually at one of our project sites working on with one of our factories on supply chain right now. So I won't be able to be as involved, but I'll be listening. But we're excited to kind of circle back with the neighborhood and the community. And I think one thing I wanted to reiterate as important, about the process of the URA process. Perhaps Lou, you could just quickly go to that process just for a second. I'll talk through it, and we can jump back. So, because we're working with the URA and the public entities, there's a lot of opportunities for community input throughout this process, as it should be. So where we are in terms of this project, so Black Street, which we completed in 2020, had to go through all of these board actions, right? So 4 board actions. Where we are in this project is at the very, very beginning. So we're looking to get into exclusive negotiations with the Urban Redevelopment Authority on this project. So there will be, in the event we're able to move forward into the first phase of this project, there will be plenty of opportunity to continue working with the BGC and the neighborhood of Garfield at large. Our intent is to ask that residents of Garfield give us a shot, give us an opportunity to actually make this project possible. And for us to get a shot at doing this project, it means that we have to at least get into the first phase with the URA, because a lot of the affordable housing subsidy and finance, we can't even apply for that financing if we don't at least have a serious land owner, being the URA, that's willing to let us build. Really, the purpose of today is, if the neighborhood is willing to give us a shot to at least try to get this project started, so we can go after some affordable housing subsidy and bring affordable housing and market rate housing to Garfield. So Lou, I'm going to let you run the presentation, but I wanted to thank everyone who's attending tonight. It's great to see that there's 29 participants on this call. So I'm very excited that we have such a great turnout tonight.
Yeah, Brian just mentioned, thank you, Brian, and quickly bring to the point. And we are at the very beginning of this process, and the goal of us is really trying to open up the conversation and creating a collaboration, that kind of channel with the community members, so we can work this through. And as you can see, there are several that kind of approval processes. Doesn't mean we'll get a support today and we have to reach agreement today or some kind of final design today and getting the project built. It's not. This is more like we trying to collaborate with the community, creating this kind of a communication. How can we build something mutually beneficial for the residents who currently live in the community, and also how we can be a more responsible developer in the East End. So there will be several approval process and kind of like a game plan created by URA we have to follow. And so just trying to get some voice and understanding from the communities, and giving us the shot and moving into next phase, so we can refine the designs and getting more due diligence done on the site, and really explore what we can actually build over there, and trying to touch on grant financing, gap financing, and to see how many units can be actually affordable over there. Because currently everything is just floating. We really don't have that kind of a much of that kind of concrete idea how much we can actually apply for, qualify for. So kind of go back to the beginning of the presentation. So um, we started this project probably early last year, and the talk started in talking with the community members and also Rick as well, just to see what we can continue to do good things in the East End and providing more that can workforce housing. So we started as an individual that kind of explorer early on, and then later we find a great partner, PHDC, and seeking how we can collaborate on this project, especially on Rosetta, how we can expand mixed income, that kind of strategies in this neighborhood. And also continue working with Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation and working with the community residents over here and creating communication channel and convey what are we going to do over here and what's possible as well. And also sharing the feedback to us, how we can improve the development plan and how we can be respectful with the community residents. So Justin, do you want to just quickly share your thoughts and PHDC's role and what kind of things PHDC can think about bring to the project and also neighbors around, not just about single project site development, but also community at large?
Sure, thank you, Lou. So I'm Justin Belton. I'm the project development manager with Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation. And we have Rich Snipe here with us as well, who's the deputy executive director of the organization, and Jarmel Fairclaw, who is a program manager for us. So what, just for all of you who are not familiar with our organization, we're actually an affiliate of the Urban Redevelopment Authority. We've been around since the mid-90s, and we're kind of established for the purpose of helping community groups and others fill the gap of affordable housing in their communities. So since the mid-90s, we've developed a little over 300 units of affordable housing. And that includes new construction and rehab of existing blighted properties. So our role in this, or first of all, we have been facing a lot of challenges recently in developing new affordable housing, just because of project cost increase and supply chain shortages, as Brian has attested to and flew across the country to attend to. And we have been working to develop new affordable housing throughout the city, but to meet these new challenges, and affordable new construction has always been a challenge, but it's become even more of a challenge recently. So we've decided to try to take unique approaches to solving the problem. And one of those approaches that we identified is developing partnerships with nonprofit organizations or for-profit organizations that are already out there and established and doing new construction. So the PHDC would use its status as a nonprofit organization to be able to apply for funding from different state and local agencies to help bring down the cost of these units, so we can lower the cost of grant money to get it down to a spot to where it makes it affordable to people of lower incomes. And right around that time, we were introduced to Module, who had already had this plan in action, or this idea of wanting to develop this project on Rosetta Street here. So we're actually working with them and with one other nonprofit or for-profit organization in the Hill District, which we just recently received full funding to do some affordable mixed income project right there. This will be the second project of that type, and it's a process that we hope to replicate throughout the city. Again, bringing affordable component to all new construction rather than just 100% market rate. So yeah, that's our key roles and responsibilities: helping secure site control for the units through the city and the URA, and then leading that gap financing. And also the third point here, which is the residential facade grant. So Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation has a grant for homeowners of up to $8,000 matching grant. that allows you to do work on the exterior of your home. So we apply that as sort of a holistic approach to development in the neighborhoods that we work in. So if we have a project in the neighborhood, we're not just focused right on that project or that one house or that one block. We focus on the entire neighborhood by opening up this opportunity for all of the homeowners in the neighborhood to be able to use some subsidy from our organization to fix up their homes as well. In addition to that, we'll also be doing outreach and helping connect people with other opportunities that exist through the URA for more intensive home repairs and down payment closing cost assistance for first-time home buyers, and really providing a suite of tools that can help strengthen the community.
Yes, thank you, Justin. And again, BGC's role, and really thank you again, all the BGC member, Rick and Nina, organizing this community meeting and getting folks to know a little bit more about this project and current update. So we are seeking BGC's help, not just facilitating the community, that kind of conversations, but also identifying the businesses currently living Garfield area, and be able to work with them and see if there's any fit in the project as well. We are not just wanting building something here without involving local workforce, and we always encourage the local workforce and communicate with us and reach out to us, trying to benefit the local workforce as well, because the local construction part, we are trying to leverage offsite construction, and we always think that's the future of the construction, and the current that kind of was the local workforce can be benefited from that kind of education process and get involved in this kind of construction process and learn a little bit more about offsite construction and energy efficiency part, what kind of product we bring to the market, and what kind of product we build as well. And also identifying the home buyers currently residing in Garfield area. We want to prioritize definitely residents currently living in the neighborhood, and not just all the new movings. We want to prioritize the residents living in the neighborhood, and trying to bring the funding to them through the program Justin just mentioned, and also what kind of gap financing we can put together for the residents currently living in the neighborhood. I think they deserve to enjoy the certain things currently they live in the certain things in the current community, and just have certain options to upgrade to a different that kind of housing options. Again, this URA process, we are happy to share this as a PDF. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know, and we will share this after the presentation as well. So a couple of projects updates, and the key things Rick just mentioned, we are going to build, we were planning to build 2 market rate homes on Broad Street previously, on 4900 block, 4926 and 4924 was the street number for that 2 properties. That was the original plan, and after we hearing back from the community residents, we need more affordable housing in the Garfield area. So we heard that voice, and we reached out to community land trust, City Bridge, and trying to seek how we can collaborate on this project and create more affordable units over here. So this gonna be potentially gonna be 100% affordable, and the land gonna be owned by City Bridge, and gonna be a land trust property. Still gonna benefit the homeowners. Yeah. So this is the project update for Broad Street, and we will be more acting as a service provider instead of developer leading the project, and the City Bridge will be leading this project. And Rosetta project, we will be still acting as a developer for this project and continue working with PHDC to seek how we can improve this project and based on feedback from the community. Currently, we're planning for 30% of home to be affordable for the project. That's 3 units, and it's well above the inclusive zoning in Lawrenceville, which requires 10% of the home to be built. It's affordable, and we are well above that goal over here. Definitely, if we can put together more gap financing, we are certainly open to more affordable units, but that depends on how much funding we can put together. And 30% is the goal we're currently trying to reach. And we had several community meetings, as we just mentioned. So we hope to go back to URA in August and seek goes into next phase, goes into exclusive negotiation. Hopefully we can have something in a written form so we can actually seriously talking to that kind of a gap financing providers, PHFA or foundations, and seek interest from them. And talking about timeline of the project, so as you can see, there are several phases from URA, and we anticipate the approval process, even there's nonstop, there will be taking 6 months from now. So we are looking at starting to put together everything, building permitted, zoning approval, probably the end of Q1 next year, and starting construction Q2 2022, and complete the project probably early 2023. So that's the current timeline we're looking at, and hopefully the supply chain issue get resolved and the price is coming down a little bit. But that's the current timeline we are looking at. Just for some attendees who is not familiar with the site, so this is site we are looking to build townhomes over there. It's on Rosetta Pacific corner, and the back is Shamrock Way. There are 9 properties over here, and one property in the middle, 64 G64. That's a private property, and the reason we couldn't put together a very accurate estimate is just because the site plan may subject to change potentially because there is a private lot over here. We are open to build 1 more unit over here, and once we have the permission to move forward into next phase, we want to engage this private owner and see if we can secure this property and add 1 more unit here, because we seek sorry about that. That's my kid. And when we see if we can add 1 more unit, we see economy of scale and be able to spread certain infrastructure costs. Original to 10 units, we may be able to spread that into 11 units because there are serious infrastructure issues along Rosetta. We did CCTV closed circuit camera that kind of test in the sewer pipes, and we find out some existing taps we have to cap and create a new tap as well. So that is significant infrastructure improvement cost over there. So we hope and we are able to amortize that in a more rational way, and we are seeking that kind of creative solutions, be able to amortize that through more units. And currently we are looking at 10. Hopefully we can make that work. And this is a historical map over there, and I believe a lot of residents in Garfield have seen that before. There are homes over there, probably in 1990s. There were still homes over there, then got burned down. And the goal of us is just trying to complete the block and improve the streetscape, and so that can help on the kind of public infrastructure, not just for the new residents, but also for the existing residents around as well. So we complete site survey, and many people may have seen this. There are some site challenges over here. steep slope and live stream on the west side of the site. So we will be seeking ways to address this and yeah, trying to preserve the natural landscape over here, not disturbing the slope the area, and reduce the construction costs and impact to the surrounding neighbors as well. So our team want to share this, and we have one unit actually was sold to a 60% area median income household, and she moved in last year, and we continue to track the household use data, the utility use especially. So what do we find is we are able to help save significant that kind of energy use and the water use for the household owner, the house owner, and because we try to build to a very high standard energy, that standard zero energy ready home standard by Department of Energy, and by their certification, they can estimate one home, each home we build, they can save about 26,000 over 30 years. So that means about $800 saving for the utilities each year just by electricity use. So that's average out to each month. So that's close to $80, a little bit less than $80, about $70, close to $70 more or less. So that's decent amount of saving for the household owners and the low maintenance as well. So we find that very beneficial, and that can help actually the home buyer increase their budget for mortgage payment each month, and they help them afford the home like this. So the current goal for Rosetta, we don't have a set price yet for the affordable units sale price, but the goal is trying to be something similar to this sheet we have over here.
And I would say one important thing to add is that our homeowner on Black Street, affordable homeowner, which somewhere between 50% of median income and 80% of median income is where that household's income lies. But their monthly payments for mortgage, taxes, insurance, and utilities is about $1,100 a month. So for those of you, who are thinking about the payments that you have, whether it's rent or ownership, you can think about that in the context. So affordable to own isn't just about the sales price, and we can reduce the upfront investment. This homeowner was a 1%, roughly 1% down payment, and a monthly payment of about $1,100. Affordable households that are, really 60 to 80% of median income. And affordable homeownership, there's also obviously a need for affordable rental units as well in Garfield. I know that BGC is working on that. I think PHDC and other organizations might even be working on that. But the challenge of affordable home ownership is that the cost of ownership is generally higher, right? There's more maintenance and upkeep than others. So the income that we really believe we can service and they can afford that household is someone who makes, let's say a household of two at somewhere between $40,000 to $55,000 in the grand scheme of things. So that's the area, that's the home buyer, the household that we will be able to serve with new construction. When renovating homes, typically the cost of renovation is going to be lower than new construction. So that if you're renovating homes in the neighborhood, you can serve a different income bracket. But this is the income bracket that we think we can effectively serve with new construction affordable. And new construction is generally more costly upfront to build, but your operating costs, because you don't have to replace the roof and the water heater and all that other stuff, over time, there's a lot of benefits to it.
Right. So a lot of residents may have seen this before, and this is kind of revised the plan. Previously, at the very beginning, we were proposing a much higher density that built over here, about 12 units, and We heard the feedback as well, and so we reduced the unit counts to 10, and 7 of them we currently anticipating will be market rate, and depends on the gap financing again. So we are targeting 3 affordable units at the moment. And we have the grading plan done over here, so the house will gently slope from the east to the west part, and yeah, the floor plan and exterior will be somewhat the same, and some units might be smaller, and we will have a diverse that kind of floor plans over here, probably 2 floor plans. So again, we're trying to create a more impact in the community, not just about single project, single build. And one thing is, and to expand that impact, one thing is we need help from you guys, and how we can get more like an MWB contractors locally, and to support the local business and the minority and the woman-owned businesses, especially in the East End area. We need your help, and creating this kind of impact, and collaborating with these groups and Garfield residents as well. And yeah, we should share the first-hand information about affordable units, and also working with PHDC and expanding the impact from this project to other blocks, and in the inner part of the neighborhoods, and creating a chain effect, keep improving the properties and the streetscape in the neighborhood. And preserve that green space. We are keep exploring the options over there, and we don't have a set plan on how we do this yet. Probably through the streetscape, and gently transition into a private lot. But we don't have a set that kind of landscaping plan or tree that kind of plantation plan for this yet. But we are definitely open to hear more feedback on that, and to see how we can make a very inviting environment on Rosetta Street. So that's pretty much the update from our project team, and we are happy to hear any questions and answer any concerns you may have, and feel free to share your thoughts.
Hey, one thing I wanted to add before we go into questions is the types of units which we're proposing to build here. I know there are no photos up front right now, but we were thinking of a mix of 2 and 3 bedroom units, and also we realized that there's a need for not only affordable for sale housing in the area, but also affordable rental housing. And Module actually offers a product, one of which they built on Black Street, which is a duplex. It is presented from the same, it looks like the houses next to it, but it's actually split into 2 different units. So a low to moderate income buyer could potentially buy one of these duplexes, live in it, and then also rent out the bottom floor, which would be an affordable rental unit. So the homeowner would be paying down and subsidizing their mortgage, their monthly mortgage amount, by having that extra rental income and gaining more generational wealth as a homeowner, building upon their asset, using their asset as a tool to make money for themselves, while also being able to provide another unit of affordable rental housing below. And unfortunately, not everyone is ready to take the step to home ownership. So this can be, like an all-encompassing tool that allows people who aren't ready, maybe not quite ready to take the step to be a homeowner, an affordable housing option, which allows them to save up some money and work on their credit score, work on taking first-time home buyer class, seeing really working with a bank to see how much money they qualify for, stabilizing their work and their income by not having to be stressed out by how much money they're paying for the rental unit, and then be able to build themselves to the point to where they're able to take advantage of hopefully other affordable housing options that the PHTC and Module and other organizations are able to create in other projects throughout the city as well. So, we are taking into consideration feedback that has been provided before and looking at some creative ways to where we can really maximize the impact that we can have with the number of units that are here. And Lou mentioned the 3 affordable units. That's our base, that's our bottom line that we're trying to go off of for this, for Rosetta Street. And then once we're able to enter into exclusive negotiations, that allows us to really apply for grant funds and do that push. And we can see if we can push that beyond 3 units to maybe 4. And if we get 4, that's 4 on Rosetta, 2 on Broad, 6 out of 12. That's 50% affordability for new construction, which is kind of unheard of, especially when led by a for-profit developer. So we're really excited for this project and to be working with the community to help advance it. So with that, I'll open the floor to questions.
Thank you so much. Rick, do you want to say anything before we open up to questions?
No, Nida, why don't we have you go ahead and facilitate the question and answer session?
Thank you so much. So anyone who would like to ask a question, I do ask that you say your name and what neighborhood you're from. And then we do have quite a few people on the call on phones. So they will not be able to raise their hand or put questions in the chat, but if you do have access to that feature, you can. And if you are on a phone, you can just ask your question and we will try to navigate the best that we can. So I'll go ahead and open the floor up. If you have a question, you can just go ahead and start or raise your hand.
I do have a question. Well, just wait my hand. So what if you guys haven't talked about what green space have you guys identified about, using for development? And how would that look?
Hey, I can answer quickly. So right now there's no public green space in the area, but during a previous community meeting, the community members had expressed a wish for the development of a green space that would complement this new development. So that's whenever Module decided to reduce the overall number of new construction units for that block to allow for the development of a green space in the westernmost parcel that will be acquired by them, to complement that area and be able to be an asset to the neighbors surrounding it. Module team, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much you said, and I think across the site there's an urban green Garfield green zone. There's a trail come across the site and connecting to the existing stairway to the Shamrock Way to the rear. So our team heard the feedback previously about Garfield green zone, that kind of effort, and we are open to ideas and to see how we can benefit the residents over there and create a green space. It's definitely needed in the community and in the neighborhood. That will help the streetscape and also the air, that kind of quality in the area as well. So we are definitely open to the ideas, but as Justin just mentioned, there's no public green space over there, and we are just seeking how we can do it creatively, that kind of just fun way, and be smart about the decisions and not put too much pressure in the nonprofit part, organization part, and taking on that responsibility, and also for-profit part, and who needs to maintain that. We just need to create a plan for that. But we're certainly open to different ideas how we can create a benefit, that kind of a green trail over there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lou. And I'll add to that. And Sam Hoffman also posted in the chat, and I will read his comment as written. A previous version of the green space plan had identified these lots as part of the green zone. It would link the Fort Pitt Park to other proposed green zone areas. That may be part of the confusion about it being public green space versus private green space. And what Sam is referring to is, and what others had mentioned, were the green zone plan that Garfield does have, that is a trail plan through the community. And those lots had been identified that we could possibly adopt those to do a green project on. And the community really wanted to note that there was a naturally occurring stream that crosses that property. And that was really the push for, even if you built homes, that the community was looking for some green infrastructure on the space because of that naturally occurring stream. All right. Who else has a question? Sean Adams? You're muted, hon. Sean, you are muted.
Okay, hi. Sorry, I got into the meeting late. But I was a question about the green space. You were saying, I know Hillcrest Street was supposed to be a designated area some years ago, and we never heard anything else about it. And I was told that I guess the city had pulled out, but then at the top of North Atlantic, it was done there. Do you have any information on that?
Which project on North Atlantic are you speaking about?
At the top of the hill, Hillcrest and North Atlantic.
Are the PWSA watershed space? Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So that was done, and we are working towards the Garfield Green Zone. This is like our big year. We're moving forward. The city is working with us on different lots and the trail aspect. Fort Pitt Park is under, they did a plan to have that developed. So the aspects of the Garfield Green Zone, including Hillcrest Street, there's the farm there, that is all happening. It's just taking us a little longer than we had hoped, but we are moving forward with the city. But as far as like another PWSA site, that is something that we are trying to work with them on the future for Hillcrest, but we do have to speak to them further.
Okay, because the question is, years ago when they did that and they came up on Hillcrest and they cut down a lot of trees to prepare for that. And I know forestry told us that they had the appropriate trees to be planted, and then nothing ever happened. So now our street, that most of the trees are gone except the two in front of my home that need to be taken down. And but besides the park, what else for Hillcrest Street is being done? I was told years ago that Hillcrest Street wasn't forgotten about, and that was probably about 20 years ago, and I feel like Hillcrest Street has been forgotten about.
So for this, there's like some green zone stuff that I can talk to you about, like getting more trees on the street and some other items. I don't want to hold up this meeting about module and Rosetta, but there is a lot of information that I can go over with you, and we can make sure that that gets taken care of, because there was a long time wait for that. You were absolutely right. And we are just moving forward now. I'm actually hiring a green zone coordinator so that we can make sure that everything gets moving. So Shauna, I'm going to message you in the chat and get some contact information so I can make sure that I get all the information and resources to you.
Mm-hmm. And next question, where are the grants coming from for this development?
The grants we'll be pursuing different sources for the grant funds, but some organizations that we usually utilize are the Department of Community and Economic Development and Pennsylvania Housing Agency, and some local foundations. So those first two are kind of state government organizations, and then we have some local foundations who also may be able to provide some grant money for pre-development costs, for construction costs. Actually, I've already secured some pre-development grant financing from a place called Bridgeway Capital, which is a local community development financial institution. You can think of them kind of as like a nonprofit bank.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I apologize because I came into the meeting late, so I missed, the beginning and what you guys were discussing, and about the properties. Now, are the properties going to look like the ones on Black Street, or are they going to be blend in with the rest of the neighborhood?
So the design part will be slightly different, but overall feeling will be similar, contemporary, that kind of designs. And we are trying to respect the neighborhood context, have pitched roof, and but the units will be attached, kind of like a duplex, and attached to 2 units. So the design part, the frontage will be somewhat the same, larger windows and transparent doors potentially, and sidings will be lap siding and horizontal ones. So we haven't finalized the design yet, but the shape, the form will somewhat respecting the streetscape over there, and similar to Black Street's unit, but it will be attached to the product.
Yeah, and again, if you weren't here for the first part, you might have missed the whole process that we have to go through for the URA, which module and the PHTC would be acquiring the properties from. So right now we're focused mainly on just the overall scheme of things, which would allow us to, if we had enough community support, we could enter into exclusive negotiations for the property. That would give us the backup we needed to start applying for grants. And then there's 3 more stages afterwards that require board action. One of those is presenting final design. So if we get exclusive negotiations, we'll be coming back to the community and saying, hey, here are a few different templates or designs we were thinking of, getting some feedback and having the community help shape the overall final design.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. And also follow up with your question, Sean. And regarding the gap financing module, as a team, we work with a lot of larger corporations, and a lot of times they have that kind of a social goals and creating impact in the community as well. We always working with them and seek support from them. And there might be potential that kind of possible source from larger corporations as well. Yeah, they may be able to provide additional that kind of gap financing instead of from public sector, but from private that kind of sector.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So much. Desiree has her hand up.
Hi, yes, my name is Desiree, and I am a resident of Garfield. I just wanted to say I was pretty excited to hear that there would be a possibility of affordable housing coming to the neighborhood. And also wanted to make sure I understood. So there would be single family homes and also duplex part of this plan, or the homes will just be close together and look like a duplex?
Yeah, great. Thanks for your comment. So the duplexes, if you imagine, they will be 2 single family homes side by side, but they will share one wall. So there'll be one wall where there's connected, and then the 2 other walls will have a yard. Does that make sense, Desiree?
Oh yes, definitely. So would someone be able to purchase both? Is that what you're stating? Live in one and rent the other in order to maintain income and to pay the mortgage? Or that's not an option?
So in that case, yeah, in that case, one person would only purchase one house. What Justin was talking about is if the city, there was a legislation that would allow you to put a second unit on the same lot. So if these are two lots, and imagine right now we have two houses, but if you could put a second unit like we did on Black Street, on one of them, we have two units on top of each other, one on the top, one on the bottom. If the city were, it's called the ADU overlay. If they were to allow that to, that legislation kind of sunsetted, they called it. It basically does not exist anymore. But if they were to reinstate that, then you could potentially have a situation where you could buy a 2-unit building where there's 2 units on one lot, live in one and rent out the other. But that would be if the city would reinstate that legislation.
Okay, thank you.
This is that duplex. I'm sorry, this is the 2-unit building that Lou had up there. So there's like a top and a bottom unit, but that currently can't be built on this site as it's designed. So this, if the city were to change the laws to allow a second unit on each lot, so 2 units per lot, then you could build something like this.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
And that
because
is something we can advocate with the city for. And I think that they are interested in the possibility of the ADU continuing or starting again.
Yeah, it was already part, I mean, there was a trial period for it, but it just kind of expired. So if the community felt strongly about this option of having the rental capacity, you know, there's 2 avenues that we could approach to doing it. One would be petitioning the city for a zoning change for this lot. So we would just, you know, use other surrounding duplexes as kind of backup for the reason we're asking for it, and tell them about, you know, the benefit of doing that, and see if they would change zoning for that section to allow for the duplexes. But the easier way we were thinking is just to ask them to reinstate something that already existed.
I mean, ideally, I think that would be an awesome idea because most people can't afford housing at the price that it is now, not alone paying higher rent. I mean, those 2 different issues. And if you can purchase a duplex and make money and also be a homeowner, I mean, I think that's just a win-win.
I don't mean to cut anybody off, but I do have to hop off. I have to get ready to go to my second job. Nina, did you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
If you have these gentlemen's information, if you could just pass along to me, just in case I had any follow-up questions for them, I can shoot them an email.
Absolutely. And I will also include a recording of the whole meeting too.
Okay. I know the last one was on YouTube, so.
Yes.
Okay. I think that is very a great way for people who haven't been able to tune in some of these development meetings, public safety meetings, to, you know, be able to just get an idea about what happened during the last meeting. So I think that was a great idea.
Thank you.
All right, well, it's got nice meeting you guys, and thank you for what you're trying to do for this community, and we look forward to seeing how we can continue to work together to make this happen.
Thank you, Malachi. Thanks for joining us.
yeah, thank you for joining us.
Okay. Sam Hoffman, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I apologize if I missed this. I had a screaming child in the other room. But if we give you that exclusive negotiation agreement, was there a timetable on that in case things don't move forward or something else comes up?
Yeah, so you are usually would have set a timetable on that, and typically 6 months, I believe. I'm not sure whether Jack from URA joined us or not, but usually in the agreement, they would have set up the timetable, and you need to move forward with things. If there's a delay in the process, it's understandable. Usually we can extend that in a written another written form, another agreement. But usually they have a time requirement that you need to provide certain things. Yeah, not just holding on the lot, not doing anything.
Hey Lou, this is Jack at the URA, just confirming that it's exclusive negotiations is typically 6 months, and it is renewable at the URA's discretion. So that's on the table.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. And I think UR's ultimate goal is trying to have improvements to the city, and they want to see improvements. So they wouldn't let anyone just holding on the land and speculating.
Yeah, so I mean, this sets it up to where the URA could, if things weren't moving forward, could take the property back. This is not a full sale of the property that Module could, not build the houses on afterwards. If there's something happened where they couldn't build the houses, then URA would take it back, and another developer would be given an option.
Yeah, so this is different from city's process. Any private party can buy land from the city. If they own that, they can do whatever they want. But URA has a game plan for pretty much all the city-owned properties if going through them. So that process we just shared, that's pretty much URA's process. We will follow that.
Okay. I don't see any other hands up at this time. Is there anyone who just would like to ask a question? You can just unmute yourself and speak.
It's real quick, Nina. I'm going to put in info@modulehousing.com. I know sometimes people, may not feel comfortable speaking in a large room, Zoom room. So info@modulehousing.com if folks have other questions.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'll drop my contact information in here as well.
I'm sorry.
This is Rich Snipe from the URA. Wanted to say that this has been a good meeting and get an opportunity for the community's voice to be heard, and also an opportunity to bring about affordable housing for a community where we've seen the housing prices rise steadily. One of the things that you want to keep in mind is you want to be able to keep your residents who are there in your community, and you want that community to be able to grow. So this is a great opportunity to not price people out of the market. And I applaud the developer for going the extra mile to make this happen. We've seen other communities where developers aren't interested in trying to make homes affordable. So as that number continues to get higher, that commitment needs to be there to make homes affordable for families so that neighborhood can keep residents there. So this is an opportunity to be able to do just that.
Does anyone have any questions or anything that they would like to say at this time? You can just unmute yourself.
I will follow up real quickly to one of the other previous questions about the green space. I think something that maybe we didn't mention was that there is a set of city stairs on the far left of the lots that we're trying to build on. They're not in great shape right now, but they are there, and there is a city right-of-way, and our green space would be next to that, to the right. So our development would in no way impede access from the top of Garfield, from Hillcrest down through Rosetta. It would actually just enhance that corridor that exists there by doing some stormwater management system, and working working with the city to fix up those steps and the green space around it. So we'd still be able to have access from Hillcrest down to Rosetta, and then from Rosetta, there's a path that connects down to the lower streets and in Garfield to Kincaid and Broad, and subsequently to Penn, which Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation has been working on maintaining and creating a little green space that is there. So that option for connectivity still exists.
Thank you. Philip Wu from the city.
Yeah, hi. I just had a question about when does Module anticipate submitting, zoning applications for any of these proposed homes?
Yeah, thank you, Philip. And we plan to submit that once we have the geotech done. And that means we need to move into next URA phase into approval process to get a site access and getting the due diligence done and do some soil testing and just see if the unit layout, the site layout makes sense for that location. And also the grading plan as well. We just want to making sure we have enough evidence to support the building layout instead of, because I think that's an undermining area. So we just want to do some extra that can due diligence and making sure our plan makes sense. And then after that, we will be submitting the zoning application and see what kind of variance will be needed from the for the project. And I know the community has been indicating the duplex and the stack duplex, that dual unit, and there might be some conversation around that as well. Once we have a more refined idea of what kind of units we're going to put over there, because it's R1, is single family zoning, and we just want making sure we have enough feedback and to support our design before we submitting the zoning application. I anticipate that on a timeline basis, probably the end of the year, if we can move forward the next month. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. So we have a comment in the chat that I will read as written. For the next meeting, please offer up the economies of scale and actual per home dollars, since that it is effectively the only argument for deforesting this large tract of land. There are dozens of vacant or condemned lots throughout the immediate area, which would be more sensible for construction of any single unit.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. And we can certainly explore that. And once we have the geotech back, once the unit layout makes sense, we should have a rough idea about the site work, that kind of estimate. Usually what we see is just as a very high level idea, we can see about 10% saving per unit if we can reach economy of scale when we're doing the construction. Not just about the design but also the site mass excavation and set work, mobilization, and also because we leverage off-site construction as well, there will be set day which we will bring the crane and the truck and set up the house, and there's all efficiency over there, and we can do a more centralized location or more cluster location. We don't have a exact number, but usually around 10% is what we are seeing at the moment for the pricing, for the site work, all the vertical structure, and also design and the coordination part. We see certain that kind of efficiency over there, but we don't have a concrete number until we move on to next phase.
Thank you. Allison Keating has their hand raised.
Hey, yeah. I just wanted to, maybe, I don't know, ask these folks to take a step back and, think about the duplex idea that, the other woman, I forget her name, she was, excited about it. And I've made a couple of comments in the chat about, I think it's a really great way to, add rental units to a community and also add home ownership at the same time. And I understand the issue with the zoning, but variances exist for situations like this, and or just actually going and rezoning the area is also a possibility. It I understand that takes longer, but it might be it might be valuable to build a more sustainable community by taking that extra time. You know, it just we have an awful lot of single family houses in Pittsburgh, you know, and you know, it just does not seem to be a very sustainable model, especially going forward. So, you know, that just really might want to be something that you look into. Oh, and ADUs are not the same as a duplex. Like an ADU is you know, if you want to add an ADU to your property, you know, it's quite a bit of money. It's you know, I think that's why nobody really took advantage of it while it was available. You know, but you know, when you're building a duplex from the start, that's you get a lot more bang for your buck and a lot more affordability. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thought.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. I mean, the goal here, like we had mentioned before, is like creating opportunities for people, creating generational wealth through home ownership, and being able to use a tool, or being able to use a home not only as a place to live, but a tool, a financial tool to be able to better their lives and the lives of those in their families. So the most we can do to help them reduce their cost and be able to create affordable options, to the more we can really maximize that money saving to the homeowner. So thanks for your comment.
Okay, who else has a question? I'm not seeing any hands raised. If you have a question, you can just unmute and ask away. I'm not hearing anybody. Last call, questions, comments? Okay, Rick, do you have anything you would like to say in closing? You're muted, Rick.
Sorry about that. Only that what I'd like to do is have the folks from the community stay on the call, and we'll thank the city officials, the URA officials, and the module representatives for joining us this evening. I think what we want to try to determine is where the community wants to go in terms of the project, and then be able to deliver that back to module, the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation, and even the city officials on the call tonight.
Wonderful. I would like to, there's one more comment in the chat, and I want to get it on the record before we close out, from Meg Graham, and it says, I guess I would just restate that I am hopeful for no development, but only the retainment of the green space. Just so that's on the record.
Yeah, thank you for the comment, Mac. And again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rick and Nina, for organizing this. And I think this is a really great platform, and for us to continue collecting feedback. Even moving to next phase, we getting the blessing moving to next phase, there will be more that kind of community engagement needs to be done to collect more feedback, and especially talking about increasing the density at the site.
Lou,
yeah.
just one last question.
Yep.
Lou, just one last question. I know you said earlier about retaining the tree canopy that exists along Shamrock Way in the site. Is that a solid commitment on the part of module to do?
We have to see what is possible based on engineers' suggestion, and we definitely open to ideas that is cost effective, both for the partners and the community stakeholders, because we don't want to create something that can't be maintained by anyone, because the homeowners over there, they will be taking care of their properties, and once we sell the property, we don't have that kind of ownership on the project unless we create HOAs for the entire project. So we want to making sure we have a responsible design for the entire site, especially following the suggestions. Pretty much, we should have more evidence before we commit anything, especially the green space, how we can design that, and someone can maintain that. either the community or the city, we certainly open to different ideas, I believe, and just need to making sure that is a rational plan instead of just creating something no one is going to maintain that, then it becomes a liability for the residents over there and also the community or nonprofit organizations because the challenges you have to maintain that, especially in the rear of the Shamrock Way, because there's a big cliff over there, and how we can do a landscaping that kind of improvement over there to stabilize the entire that kind of Shamrock Way. That's all certain things that we have to follow the engineers that kind of suggestions. So we certainly open to ideas, but we can't really commit it to saying we will improve the entire street or certain things over there. Um, as you know, Rick, we are very young, that kind of developer, and certainly the knowledge part kind of compared to a lot of developers just saying this is possible, that's not possible. We are just open to ideas, and yeah.
I will add from a general sense, just with the positioning of the homes on the lots, they'll be on, abutting Rosetta Street, and there will be new sidewalks that are going in, so we can incorporate maybe a planting strip into the sidewalk. We can incorporate smaller native plantings into the fronts of the homes that don't really obstruct the homes or pose an issue for them down the road, but also provide, a glimpse of the natural scenery that would be there. And then in the rear, there's no alleyway going in or anything. There's no garages going in the rear. So there's definitely the potential to preserve a lot of that existing greenery in the rear portion of those lots. They're pretty deep lots, and these homes will only take off maybe a half of it.
Right. So we are trying to push the units pretty much to the front, and so yeah, we were trying to have a more pleasant, that kind of a streetscape along the Rosetta Way. But the rear part, we really need to check on that. Yeah. Thank you, Justin, for explaining that.
Okay, so I think that's it. So those of you who want to remain on the call, please do so. And we'll thank the officials, the developers for joining us this evening. So you're able to go on with your evening, and hopefully we'll have some further information from you as far as the community's position on the project.
Wonderful. Community members, stay on if you want to stick around to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hop off. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
So in the time remaining, we have maybe another 10 or 15 minutes. Wanted to throw out an idea and see what people's response is to it. And that is, the first thing that they want to be able to do as developers is enter into exclusive negotiations with the URA regarding the purchase of their lots. And Justin Belton, who is also with the URA through their Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation, opened up an interesting line of thinking about what would happen moving forward. And that is that even if we were to consent to the URA entering into these negotiations, there appear to be a number of other points of interaction on this project that would be coming down in the future. So if indeed we were to kind of stand aside and let the URA begin those negotiations with Module, that doesn't mean that we're also agreeing to the site plan that's been proposed, nor any of the other major aspects of the project. Justin said he feels there would be opportunity for 3 or more jobs.
Rick, you're breaking up. It might be better if you turn off your video and just leave your microphone on.
move ahead while also reserving the right to come up again.
Oh no, y'all, we lost Rick. I think that he is going to log back in. We'll just give him a second. Unfortunately, I do not know what he was presenting. So just hang out here with me in the room for a minute and we'll see if he joins us. While we're waiting, I'll tell you, we got a big event on Saturday, the Garfield Get Down, happening at Fort Pitt Park, noon to 6 p.m. Pull through with the kids, fam. Everybody, all adults, all ages are invited. All right, Rick is back in the room. Rick, whenever you're ready, we're ready.
Rick, you're still muted.
Yes, he is. Well, we'll just give him a few more minutes. Saturday, field day, y'all. Come play some games. We're going to hang out. We got a lot going on.
We're gonna have an old-fashioned get down.
Old fashioned get down. DJ. We're going to play some dodgeball, some kickball.
Did I see there was going to be wrestling?
There's professional wrestling. That's like the big night closing event. From 4 to 6, we're going to have professional wrestlers. Getting down at the get down, y'all. Noon to 6. Okay. We lost Rick again. I do not see him.
Can I make a comment, Nina?
Please, Gary.
One of the initial comments back in October was the goal of affordability. Joanne Monroe, head of the Garfield Jubilee, said strive for at least 50%. We're now, if we're including the City of Bridges 2 units on Broad Street as affordable, and they should, assuming that they're successful, should be below 80% AMI. We're at 5 of 12 units now at that point. It only takes one more, which means the ball is in the hands of people like the URA in terms of helping locate more subsidy to make this possible. Personally, I know there's some criticism about the blandness of the appearance of these units